MSB here, and today I'm answering another request, this time from Nicholas Iverson, who wanted a stronger version of the beginner PvE Dwarf deck for my new player guide video, using some of the new stuff since Set 2's release. So, let's get started! Looking back at previous versions, you can see the Dwarf starter deck here. In my new player guide video, I showed you how to change this deck into the early game powerhouse Rock League deck here. Now, I've upgraded it to a budget deck, and dropped the Ruby Shards to focus on the dual Sapphire Threshold Reprocessor, who churns out an army of warbots, making your opponent succumb to the might of Dwarven engineering. I call it Sadistic Reprocessing. And here we have the deck, with 4 charge bots with glove equipment, 4 Sapphire Charges with boot equipment, 4 Gearsmiths, 4 Construction Plans Hornet bot with chest equipment, 4 Electroids, 4 Construction Plans Ingenuity Engine with the weapon and trinket equipment, 4 Construction Plans Warhulk with the helm equipment, 3 Research Librarians, 4 Reprocessors, and 4 Terabots with 21 Sapphire Shards and Bertram Cragraven as the champion. If you just started out in Hex, focus on getting the Rock League deck first, as this budget version will need more expensive cards in order to work. The total price for this deck is bumping on the ceiling for budget decks, right around 1,000 platinum, but less if you took the Dwarven starter as recommended in my new player guide, and you can lower it even further if you strip away some of the equipment. Since you really only need the Eyes of Genius and Hulk Helm to get bots on the board, the other pieces can be dropped, and the Ingenuity Engine's weapon, the Firebolt crossbow, might be your first impulse due to its price. But look, it effectively halves the time it takes to get an engine out. Madness! This can give you consistent turn 3 or 4 engines, with each subsequent turn potentially giving you a game-winning card. However, dropping out those extra pieces of equipment brings the deck price down around 750 platinum. The general strategy for this deck is nearly identical to the old Dwarf deck. Drop troops, build plans, and shoot for an early kill. But by moving to Mono Sapphire you get improved threshold consistency, and, with the new cards, there isn't any mid to late game drop-off. The Reprocessor's ability can hit any of your troops, upgrading a piddly Gearsmith into a Cyberman ready to delete your opponent, and synergizes amazingly well with all the worker bots you'll make. In addition, it also ensures that even the worst random artifact from the Ingenuity Engine can be turned into a solid 3/3 troop. Oh, and speaking of the Ingenuity Engine, hilarious! Now that the deck is ready, let's go ahead and take it for a spin. Okay, and it's the final fight against Soltog. Now, when I was battling against one of the earlier opponents, I got a 1 resource addition. So, with 1 resource in mind, this is a very good hand. I will absolutely keep this. The Reprocessor being 2 threshold is not that big of a deal because you don't need 1 early game. You want it around mid-game-ish, so it's not terrible to not be able to satisfy the threshold for Reprocessor. Oh, look at that, 2/2. It's fine. 2/2 that does damage to him. So generally speaking, for your early game hands, you really want to have some kind of aggression. You know, Electroid, Gearsmith, Hornet bot. You want to have something that you can immediately put out with as much as you possibly can. And then I will Sapphire Charge. Okay. And the next turn would be Warhulk. Generally speaking, you prioritize Warhulk over Ingenuity Engine, because Ingenuity Engine is more late game oriented. Skip that. Skip that. So the Warhulk is more important to get out early. And as always, from my beginner guide video, always use your construction plans at the end of the opponent's turn. The reason for that is a non-exhausted troop actually has a greater priority than an exhausted troop. So, Warhulk. I'll get out Warhulk. Still not going to be able to block next turn, which is a bit tragic, but... So anyway, you leave them unexhausted, so that way if they're targeted by a spell or an action, then you can exhaust them in reaction to it. And like I said, if you have an exhausted Electroid, they may not go for it. Or an exhausted, obviously you want to keep your Electroid exhausted, but if you have an unexhausted troop, then you want to make sure that your opponent wastes spells on it. Okay, still can't do anything about this. I will take the 2 damage. Yeah, I'll just take the 2 damage. He is gearing up. Brutal Commander. And let's pop the Hornet Bot. And it's okay. I will be able to plot the Reprocessor if nothing else. Okay, great. That's perfect. So now I'm actually, instead of the Reprocessor, I'm going to throw out the Ingenuity Engine for an extra troop, and because I'm starting to get into a dangerous area. Okay, so now I'm going to swing in. 2, do I swing with both? 1, 2, 3. No, I need to keep 4 on the board so I can pop the Warhulk. Yeah, I'll swing in for 3. But yeah, you've just got to start being careful against Zoltog right around this, you know, when he gets his champion power. His passive is dangerous if you don't leave enough blockers. Mentor, okay, that's cool. Yep, that's fine. I'm going to start having troops that he can't deal with, so that's alright. 4. Or at least, you know, troops that he'd have to throw a significant amount of resources at. Okay, now, do I want to, no, because like someone like Poka or something else would be a lot more deadly. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna throw out a Reprocessor and that. Do I swing in? I'll swing in with Warhulk. And yeah, I'll swing in with all 3. I'm still gonna leave my Hornet Bot unexhausted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because then I've got 5. I can pop a Inspiration Engine. Yep, that's fine if he wants to double block. I don't mind that. Yep, I'll trade that off just so he doesn't have as much, as many resources or as many orcs on the board, because I've got to make sure that I can keep this contained. Okay. At 5, so now you can create. Okay, and he gains 2 cards and 1 resource for each, and there's his 3. So this is his big push. And luckily, this, as you can tell, this deck has tons of troops. So nothing's getting through. And in addition, we get some fun times now, because we've got an ingenuity engine. Because we have an ingenuity engine. So I'm going to be defensive this turn to just kill off these 3. But always, first thing you do, ingenuity engine. What do I got? True's Unrelenting Fist! Awesome. How much? You have to have 3 at the start of next turn, so that means that I will play my Research Librarian, because I want to start drawing cards for free. And so I'm just going to hold off. I don't want him to block with any of these guys, to, you know, beneficially trade with one of my troops. You know, I want him to just throw guys into my beneficial blockers. Okay, so Terrabot is going to block him. We'll block Warhulk there. Electroid there. Warbot, he may throw out like a Ruby Aura or a Crushing Blow, not sure, and block there just as a throwaway. Yep, let's see what you got. Yep, Crushing Blow. So that's fine. He just used up his Crushing Blow so this guy wouldn't die. Everything else is beneficial for me. Yeah, buddy. Did you see that? That's right. And end that turn. Now I got a Druze. Yeah. Actually, no, I don't. I will decline, because nothing, I mean, I could turn the Druze engine, Druze Unrelenting Fist, into a 3/3, and that may have been the smarter play, but this doesn't matter to me. What do I get? X-Bot. Cool. 3, 6. Oh, he's dead. He is dead. Pass. because I will just attack in with all of this junk. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, of course he's got burn. That's fine. It's still death, because no matter what he blocked with, it'd be fine. And I still had Sapphire Shards below him at the end. So yeah, you can see how this deck can contain an opponent. And like I said, with Drew's Unrelenting Fist, if that, if that's that, or like a, Surge Mechanism or something horrible, you still get a 3/3 out of it, which is fantastic. And so early game, you've got so many bodies to just stop people from attacking in, and then mid to late game, you've got Reprocessors to turn them all into 3/3s, and you've got Ingenuity Engines to just make crazy stuff, like, Tectonic Mega Hulks and stuff. It's amazing, amazing. So as you can tell, the Sadistic Reprocessing deck is a fantastic next step as you power up from the Rock League version and move into more difficult content when the PvE campaign releases. If you've got the resources to spare and are looking to upgrade this deck with no budget restrictions, replacing the Ingenuity Engines with Tectonic Mega Hulks makes for explosive finishes, and taking out 4 Sapphire Shards for Star Spheres helps with draw quality at any stage of a match. Thanks again, Nicholas, for the Dwarf upgrade deck request, and since I couldn't find a better budget alternative, I'll send you 4 Electroids by in-game mail if you confirm your in-game name in the comments below. Electroids are just so powerful, I had to include them since you asked if I could make the Dwarf deck from my original video stronger. So Nicholas, you can take them as thanks for the deck request. And thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please take the time to subscribe. And, as always, I'm MSB, wishing you good games and good times.